And I will just translate in English. Anna Henderson, SBS World News. You mentioned the 50th anniversary of relations between Australia and China. To mark this, is it possible that China will make practical moves to improve the relationship, such as lifting trade restrictions on Australia and or releasing Australian citizen Cheng Lei?
Well, thank you for the question. As I said in my address, in my speech, there was a difficult time for a couple of years in the past between our two countries, and now there's an opportunity for a possible reset of the relationship. And here we have a good start ever since the new Labour government came into power. But this is a good start only, and there's a lot to be done to really reset this relationship. And there's a lot of issues on the table, many disputes to be solved. Our policy is that we are for friendly cooperation with Australia. We're ready to work together with Australia's new government to put this relationship back on the right track. Specifically, I think it's been very helpful if both sides take objective perspective on each other, take positive policies and concrete actions. And in this process, the issues on the table will be gradually solved, or we're going to find out solutions to these issues. Currently, there are being top-level communications, there are being high-level contacts, even face-to-face contacts, but we have not yet come to the stage to discuss about how to solve those specific issues, either political issues or trade issues or some other individual cases issues. We're ready to compare notes with the new government and to get engaged in this process. As for the trade disputes that you mentioned, I would rather not to use the word sanctions. I think this issue, perhaps I could categorize it in different groups. One kind is trade dispute between the two governments at the government level. These are mainly on the tariffs on certain products from Australia. And those were imposed by the Chinese customs. Indeed, it happened. Yeah, that's true. It was an official action. In response to the complaints from some of the Chinese companies who are involved in the similar businesses, they complain about the dumping of certain products from Australia. And once there's complaint, according to the WTO, the Chinese government has the obligation and the right to increase tariff to protect our own industry. And the case is now in the WTO, and we are ready to sort it out and solve these disputes through WTO with the Labour government. If the new government in this country is ready to discuss it bilaterally, it's okay, we're ready to talk about those things. Second type is more about the people's attitudes. When there was some policies taken or actions taken by the previous Australian government on some of the major Chinese companies, Chinese projects, Chinese businesses in this country, for example, Huawei, ZTE, and many other Chinese companies, causing severe damages economically to these companies. Basically, it's been stopped Huawei of any kind of business in this country. And that's a huge disruption to the normal business relations between our two countries. And these actions have been sending very negative messages to the people in China. And they're not happy, to be honest. And if you look at the reaction from the public in China at that time, even nowadays, they're still not happy about those actions. And just like you go to the shops and you buy something and you're offended, you're not happy, then perhaps you are thinking about go to some other stores to buy the similar products. So there are people in China who are really calling for buying some other products rather than the Australian products. That's the attitudes of the public. It happened when we have some problems with our relations with other countries as well. For example, our neighboring country to the east, there was more a severe reaction from the Chinese public. And for this kind of problem, my expectation is that once we have more positive messages, more positive actions, more positive policies to be taken by the new government, it's going to improve the atmosphere. And the people in China will be happy to come back to the market, to come back to Australia, to buy the best quality Australian products, which are very popular in China. That's true. And third category is the caution taken by some of the Chinese companies. They are thinking like, what has happened to Huawei and ZTE? Is it going to happen to me tomorrow? Is it going to happen to my company some other day? So there are companies from China who used to be interested in the Australian market, but they became cautious. And some of them try to find out alternatives, like investing in Latin America or in Africa. That's true. As ambassador in this country, I'd love to have more investment from China in Australia. And I would like to see an improvement of environment for the businessmen to do business in this country. We have so many things we can cooperate. It's beneficial to our both sides. Thank you. Oh, sorry, for the individual cases, there are a couple of Australian citizens in China. They are under custody according to Chinese rules and laws. And their basic rights are well protected. Don't worry about that. And during the pandemic, during the severe periods of the pandemic in the cities where they are detained, there were times when they were not accessible to their relatives or the diplomats of Australia. It was because of the pandemic. Now they can get easy to get access to their relatives either in Australia or their Australian embassies in China. And the case is still under jurisdiction process, and we're going to sort it out according to Chinese rule and the laws. Thank you.